Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us after lunch. We're happy to be here and grateful that you're all here. We're going to do something a little bit fun and maybe a little bit different than we've done in other sessions. We're getting to the end of day 2, and we're super excited about our incredible speakers, which I'll introduce in a second. But before we do that, I want everyone to stand up. Just stand right up. Stand right up. And move to the aisles. And move to the aisles. Everyone move to the aisle. Yep. And then everyone come down, and you will want to be closer than further away. So my thing is that you are going to want to be closer to the stage than further away. So get as close as you can, and then we will get going. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for taking that. Get as close as you can. Don't be shy. Yeah, there you go. We don't have a reserved VIP section, so all these people are in the very front. Who's going to be the closest is my question. Who's going to be the closest? Besides our speakers who are sitting right in the front row. Yeah, come on down. Keep coming. Okay, well, okay. Here we go. We're halfway there. Keep coming. Don't worry. Don't be shy. All right. Okay. Well, that's pretty good. We could have filled in a few more holes, but very good. Thank you all for being here again. I'm super excited to introduce our speakers. We're going to have the last person as soon as they sit down, then I'm going to do something here. Okay, so incentives for being the closest. We have a Google backpack. And so for the person that was closest to the front of the stage, we're going to give him a backpack. And for the 2 people, let's see what else. Let's see who else is in the second row. 1, 2 people in the second row. Let's go with this. We've got some notebooks, some Google notebooks for you folks. Thanks for coming all the way down and trusting me with that. Oh, and then these people are going to jump right in the front row, so now we've got to go backwards. Okay. All right, well, thanks again for being here. I am super, super excited to introduce to you Martin and Sequoia Omander. They are a father-daughter duo, and definitely very excited about this. I've known Martin for a number of years, ever since I first started the Google Developer Group here in Calgary. Martin was one of the people leading the Google Developer Groups for all of North America. And so I got to interact with him a number of times, or lots of times through that. I've been on a nice tour of Silicon Valley and Sunnyvale in particular with Martin, who is incredibly knowledgeable about Google. And the reason he's incredibly knowledgeable about Google is because Martin has actually been at Google longer than 99.5% of Google employees. And so he's been around, he's seen it all. He's seen the rise of cloud at Google, he's seen the rise of mobile at Google, he's seen the rise of AI at Google, and he is a developer relations team member there. And so we're really excited to have him. And Sequoia is excellent. I don't know if who here has seen Wheel of Names? It's like a contest sort of platform that allows you to, if you haven't seen it, it's great. You can plug everyone's name in, and then there's like a little wheel that goes around, and then it selects a name, and there's a little, we might do it at the end of the day today. But Sequoia manages Wheel of Names. And I think, what's the number of hits that it gets every month? Okay.
400,000 unique users per day.
Yeah, so 400,000 unique users per day on Wheel of Names, and Sequoia manages that. Martin actually built the tool, and so yeah, we're super excited again. So welcome to the stage, Sequoia and Martin, and this will be on how to host your web app on Google Cloud. And actually, round of applause for Martin and Sequoia. Yeah. Thank you, Greg. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was very nice. What an introduction.
I don't know if we deserve that.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
it's always fun to be appreciated.
I feel the pressure now.
Yeah, it got me a little
Sequoia?
nervous there. You didn't have to talk us up that much. But yeah, welcome, guys.
Was it really necessary to say I worked at Google that long, Greg? So we're going to talk about running your web app on Google Cloud. And Can we get back the, thank you. This is me, or this was me a few years ago when this photo was taken. So my name is Martin Omander, born and raised in Sweden. I lived in Silicon Valley these 24 years. Worked in IT consulting and a bunch of startups as a software engineer. And then I've been at Google since 2006. I'm pretty sure I'm older. I've been around longer than most furniture at that place. And my job is a cloud developer advocate, so I've had a bunch of different jobs within Google. This is, by the way, a career tip for folks who are early in the career or still students. One advantage of working at a large company is that you can move around and change jobs without changing employer. So pretty cool. I'm also a frequent and heavy user of Google Cloud. So everything we'll be talking about today, I'm actually using that for production workloads myself in Google Cloud. It's not just what somebody told me to do. I have own experience with it.
All right, I'm Sequoia. I am obviously Martin's kid. Let's see if this is working. I was born and raised in California. Here we have it. I'm his kid. Just in case you guys didn't hear that whole father-daughter spiel earlier. I'm taking a gap year from high school, so I'm one of the students he's talking about. I'm working in online content review. As he mentioned, that I help run Wheel of Names. And I'm looking for work somewhere in the tech community, probably with community management. I don't know. Sounds kind of fun to me.
All right, and also before we go into the actual talk, I want to put a bug in your ear about serverless expeditions. So this is my video series on YouTube. It's on the Google Cloud channel. We've released over 100 episodes by now. They're all about different aspects of serverless computing on Google Cloud. So we have like building REST APIs and connecting with a backend, or designing a system, or why you should use containers and your container journey. Lots and lots of videos on there. Usually I have another person come on as a guest and I interview them, or we write some code together. And it's a great way to get a 5 to 10 minute bite-sized info packet about something cool you can do on Google Cloud.
So basically, if you have any questions, just go to his YouTube channel. All right, well, today we're going to be talking about something not related to his YouTube videos, which is Midtown Veterinary Hospital, and they are in need of an appointment booking system. Trust me, I take my cats to the vet all the time. This is necessary. So let's go and introduce our consultant and our project manager, Ruby and Patrick. Ruby says that the first thing that they have to do is build a simple proof of concept app. And Patrick says that sounds kind of complicated. He's not really sure about it, but she says that we can take it step by step and keep it real simple. So first off, she's going to build a simple web app on her computer. And this web app, you'll see the user's browser will take these HTML and JS files and send them to the user's browser.
All right, so let's go do that. We start here with an empty directory, nothing, no files, nothing, and we'll run an npm create vite at latest. So this is just to set up an application. The vite tool is asking us, this is an open source tool, asks us for the name of the app, what type of JavaScript we want to write in, and that it's plain old JavaScript. So who here, by the way, has written web applications with HTML and JavaScript? Cool, all right, very nice. Who here has used a framework for that, like React, Angular, Vue, something like that? Okay, cool, lots of you as well. I'm a Vue kind of person. React is too complicated for me. But here, Ruby set up and did this with plain vanilla JavaScript. That's what they picked here. But you saw in the previous menu, you could pick, React or Angular or Vue or Svelte or any of those frameworks. Oh, there's more. So it says here to do a CD to the client app, change the directory to that, do an npm install, so we get all the packages installed, and then the tool tells us to do an npm run dev. So let's do that one as well. Very good. And now we have it on localhost on Ruby's local machine at port 5173. So let's see what that looks like. Hello Vite. And we have a dynamic button there we can click. So, okay, JavaScript is clearly working here. We have a super simple web application running on Ruby's computer.
All right, let's see. This is another one of yours.
Oh my gosh, what are we doing now? Oh, right. So one thing, this was all, it said hello Vite, right? So let's just make sure that we can actually make it say something different. So everything, the compiler, everything works. So we'll say, welcome to Midtown Veterinary. Save here, and the tool will automatically reload and do a hot reload in the browser. So boom, there we have it in the browser. So we have proven to ourselves that we have a count button that works, and we can change the application, and it's reloaded, a hot module replace. So after that, we can now go and build this application. So again, we use this with npm tools, so npm run build, and that will just take the JavaScript HTML we have, bundle it up into these files. Those of you who have done React and other frameworks, you know how this works, right? You get these bundles. And those 4 JavaScript files, or 4 files we saw there, those are the ones that we are eventually going to deploy up to the Google Cloud.
All right, so Patrick says that that's not too hard, but he's wondering how the users are going to get these HTML and JS files. And Ruby says, that's pretty easy. We'll just build a simple Node.js app that uses Express to serve static files. So as you see here, the user's browser will send a GET request to the Node.js app, and that will send back the HTML or JS files to the user's browser.
Yep, so let's build that. We're down here in the client app directory, so we'll just cd one level up and then do a node init. So we create a brand new application. And after that, we'll install the Express library. Express is useful for handling incoming HTTP requests on the server. Now we actually get to write some real code. So we'll create index.js file here, and we're going to put some code in here. First, lining up all the windows, very nice. And first we'll import the Express library. Has anybody here used Express? For a few, okay, a quarter maybe. Yeah, so for those of you who haven't used Express, this code we're seeing here is going to run on the server up on Google's machines. So we're telling it here to start Express. We're telling it that the directory client app /dist, that's a static directory. We'll put all our HTML and JavaScript files there. And it's going to serve those files to the user when the user comes in and hits a web application. Then here on lines 6 and 7, it starts up a listener. It starts listening to port 8080. And so it's ready to serve and send those HTML and JavaScript files to the client.
All right, great. So he says it's looking great, and he's wondering if they're done. She says, no, we're not even close. So
Not even close.
Not even close.
Oh my gosh.
She says that they'll need to create a server-side API that the browser can call, and it will call the user's browser will call this API to get these appointments or to view the appointments. So as you see down here, the user's browser will send a specific GET request with the appointment ID to the Node.js app, which will then send back that appointment with that ID in JSON format to the user's browser so that they can view it.
Yeah, so this is a pretty regular standard REST API. So let's build it. We're back here, and this is the server-side code. This is going to run on Google's machine. So we say listen for /API/appointments/ an ID. So like appointment number 1 or 2. We'll pull out the ID from the request. Then we'll go and get the ID. So for now, we'll just have a get appointment function here. We'll see what's in that function in a minute. If we don't get an appointment back, then we're going to send a 404 to the user. So that an error message that this appointment ID was not found. But if we did get an appointment, we'll send that back in JSON format to the browser. And of course, this code, will be called by client-side JavaScript, right? As the user works through the application, the client-side JavaScript will call this REST API. Now we'll implement the getAppointment function. So usually this would hit a database or something like that where we store all the appointments. But just for the purpose of getting something off the ground quickly, a proof of concept, we'll just hard code a few appointments here. We have appointments with ID 1 and ID 2, and we'll actually try out this API in a little bit. And this one just does a search through the appointment array and returns an appointment that has that ID.
All right, so Patrick says, that's great, but he just realized they still don't know how to make this web app available to the users. And Ruby says, yeah, she's got it running on her laptop, but that's not really any use to anyone trying to get an appointment at this veterinary hospital.
Well, we could all use Ruby's laptop, right?
Yeah, just pass it around the room, you know. But she says, no, let's deploy it to Google Cloud. So here you can see that she is going to deploy the Node.js app to Google Cloud. Now, how do we do that?
Ah, very good. So we're back here on the black screen. We are going to close this and, oh yeah, just two tiny changes. Google needs to know, how do I run this application? The way we tell Google how to run this particular application is we give it a start script. So Google will look for this, line 7 here. And then we tell it, so Google will run this, and that will in turn run index.js as a server-side file using the Node framework. Also, just because I used import rather than require, we'll say that we have to say that it's a type module. JavaScript is so finicky with, for anything you can do in JavaScript, you can do in 4 different ways. Anyway, so we have that all set up, and now it's time to deploy this, take this code, client-side code and server-side code, push it to Google Cloud. So we'll hit gcloud run deploy, and then the name of the service. We're using Google Cloud here. So gcloud runs on our local machine. We get to pick where in the world, which of Google's data centers this will run on. It can run in Asia, Australia, in Europe. But I usually pick US Central 1. That's in a pretty good central place for people in Canada, for people in US on the West Coast, East Coast. And then Google will run it. So what's happening now is that Google is behind the scenes building a container, loading that container up on some machines in Iowa for us. This will take a minute, so we'll just skip forward a bit. And here it has finished. And it gave us a service URL. So this is a public URL that anybody in the world can hit and get to a service. Let's see what happens. And there it is. Midtown Veterinary is up there in the cloud. It's public for anyone to see. Let's hit the API as well. So we'll enter /API, /appointments, /1. So we'll see that that REST API works. And sure enough, it works. For good measure, we'll get appointment number 2 as well. Yep, Leo is getting his vaccinations. Everything is working, and it's public in the cloud. Thank you.
Well, not quite done yet, guys. Calm down. All right, so now we have to go over.
We were done.
No, we have to go over the part that I know everyone's going to hate. How much is this going to cost you guys?
Oh, money.
Now, I know.
It's not free?
Oh, well, let's actually get into that.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Patrick has this concern that he doesn't know how much it's going to actually cost to run Cloud Run. And Ruby says, you know what? I've already done all the research, and I can show you exactly how it's going to work. So here you'll see these, up here you will see this instance bar. I don't know if, yep, there you go. That shows the server is listening for requests, and that is always on, so it is always ready to take a request. But then if you go down a little bit, you will see this, there you go, the blue bar and the green bar. Now you'll see that the blue bar is requests being made, and the green bar is when are you being billed for these requests. You may notice that in the center there, in the blue and the green bar, there's actually a break in both of them. And that is because when there are no requests being made, yep, at that time, you don't pay anything at all. So let's make this a little more simple because there are a few more things to add.
This was a little complicated.
This was a little bit too complicated. So let's say that you have 1,000 requests and each request takes 1 second. That means that you'll actually only be billed for those 1,000 seconds. You will not be billed for anything else, only when the requests are being made. But it could also, if this wants to work, be completely free for you because the first, let's see if here, the first 200,000 seconds each month is completely free. So depending on how many requests you make, how much time each request actually takes, Cloud Run might be completely free for you. So we might not have to stress about cost just yet. It obviously depends on your platform, but I hope this helped line that out a little bit more for you guys if you are worried about the cost. So now Ruby says that we've covered the cost, we have deployed it to cloud, we've done pretty much everything. But there are 3 more things that we need to run our web app. And he says, you know, you haven't steered us wrong yet, so what is it? And she says, first off, you're going to need your own domain name. Second off, you're going to need a database. And third off, user authentication. These are all a little tricky, so let's get into how to make this.
Right, let's start with the domain name. It ran on, I'll just go back for a sec. So it ran, the URL we saw in the previous slide was a long URL with this nasty looking hash in it. It's not a URL we can give to users, right? They are not going to remember. To book a veterinary appointment, go to this terrible URL. We need to put a nice domain name in front of this. So this is how it's done. We go into Google Cloud Console. Here is where we can see all the various databases and products and things that are running in our account. We see the appointment service here that we deployed a minute ago. We can set SLOs, like service level objectives for it. We can look at logs. We can look at revisions, networking, security, all kinds of various advanced features in here. But we want integrations. We're going to click a new integration because what we're going to do is integrated with Google's load balancer. So we're going to enter our domain name that we bought somewhere else from a domain name vendor. Like we bought Midtown Veterinary Hospital. It's a very long URL. midtownveterinaryhospital.site. And now we need to turn on some things here, and we need to hit a submit button here. And what this is doing in the background, and this will take a minute, what this is doing in the background is that Google's global load balancer, the one that is active when you go to, say, youtube.com, or you go to mail.google.com, or you go to just plain old google.com, your request goes through Google's global load balancer. What we did just here was to add our own little entry to that global load balancer and say, if somebody comes in looking for Midtown Veterinary Hospital, they should go into my account into this appointment service. What happened
there? Seems to be an issue.
Oh.
Please hold.
Let's see, it's running here. Do we get loose our monitor here? Oh, that is known as Purnell's law. Purnell, a great science fiction author, he has this law that says if something is wrong, always check the cabling first. This law has served me well over many, many years.
I need you to know that he uses this anytime I say the TV's not working, a light isn't working, the Wi-Fi is out. He goes, Purnell's law.
Purnell's law.
Yeah, I had to memorize it over years because he stopped saying the actual law to me.
So now that has been set up,
All
and we are
right.
integrated with Google's load balancer, we can enter Midtown Veterinary Hospital.site.
You should have made a shorter URL.
It's so long. And there it is, yay. So it's now running in Google Cloud, open to the entire world. You can go to this website right now if you want to, and everything's working with a nice URL. We can even go to /API/appointments/1, and we can hit that REST API that our application will hit eventually once we build out the full thing. So everything's working.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to talk about database, which I'm actually going to let you explain today.
Oh.
I know. I'm giving you a little treat.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, so roughly we can say that there are two flavors of databases. There are traditional relational ones. And there are newer document databases or NoSQL databases. So if you have traditional SQL data, relational data, by the way, for either of these types of databases, there are multiple products within Google Cloud. The one I use when I have this sort of relational data is Cloud SQL. So it comes in several flavors. If you use to SQL Server, Microsoft SQL Server, this product can speak that language. If you use to MySQL, this one can do it as well, and Postgres as well. You can choose any of those three flavors. Now, for all the cool kids who don't want to do traditional, boring SQL like Grandpa did, there are these NoSQL databases. I kind of prefer these NoSQL. Actually, let's have a show of hands. Who prefers relational databases? Any hands? Okay, a few, all right. A few were sort of ambivalent. I saw a few hands like that, too.
Well, they're
okay.
scared of being shamed now that you've made fun of them.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's nothing wrong with traditional databases. Okay, so there were about 4 hands. Who prefers cool, hipster, NoSQL databases? About the same number. Okay, yeah.
I don't think you saying cool hipsters NoSQL databases helped that much, but I think it made it more fun. So
I need to build it up
let's talk
some
about
more.
the hipster NoSQL databases.
Yeah. So basically, in a relational database, you have tables, right, with rows and columns. In a NoSQL database, you have documents. Think like JSON documents. So any record in the database can contain any values, any columns. It's basically like every record has its own set of columns. I like this because Firestore has a free tier. So unless you use a lot of it, it's free. And also, you can even connect directly from a browser or from your mobile front end directly to this Firestore database if you want to. And then you don't have to write any of that back-end code to implement a REST API. But anyway, Google has both SQL and NoSQL flavors.
All right, now is the most dreaded part of building any web app, is the user authentication.
It is.
Yeah, so we're going to take this a little bit slow just so you guys don't run out the door screaming. So how do we do this?
Yeah, so user authentication is hard. OAuth, I think I've implemented it once successfully and failed 5 or 6 times. It's hard to do this. It's hard to set it up in a secure way so you don't leak passwords or, yeah, it's a mess. Also, users forget their passwords, right? All the time.
I've done it at least 3 times this week, and I'm so sorry to the people who run those companies.
Yeah, and if we're running a website, we don't want to have to deal with people forgetting the passwords or building out a whole different flow through the application with forms and things for people requesting a password refresh. So to take care of all that security and to deal with all the forgotten passwords flows, we can use Firebase authentication. So Firebase authentication is nice. I use it a lot in my applications because users can use their existing Google accounts, Facebook accounts, Twitter accounts, Apple, bunch of different types of accounts. They can use those accounts to log into my app. They don't have to come up with another username password pair. Or if users prefer, they could click that button and log in with username password, and they would come up with a password just for your website. But anyway, the thing to remember here is Firebase authentication. It's part of Google Cloud, makes this easier.
And they won't email you when they forget the password.
That's the most important part, isn't it?
That's the best part, and I'm hoping that was the hook.
Yeah.
All right, so Ruby says this is all running great, and he says, this has been really easy. I really thought it was going to be difficult at the beginning, but we went step by step, and writing this app and uploading it to Google Cloud was really, really easy. All right.
Yeah, so if you remember one thing, remember Google Cloud is easy for your web app. If you remember 2 things from this talk, there may be several people in the audience who might remember 2 things from our talk.
You might be lucky.
If we're lucky, yes. Google Cloud is easy is the first thing. The second thing is serverless expeditions. Go and check out the video series. Thank you very much for your attention.
All right. And it's question time, so if anyone has any questions, you can come up to the mic down here and ask us.
What if there are no questions, Sequoia?
If there are no questions, well, just go and subscribe to this YouTube channel and, I don't know, go get a soda or something. Enjoy the rest of your day.
I thought you were going to say you'd come up with questions.
Oh, all right. Who prefers apples over oranges? All right, you have a question? Come on down. Thank you so much.
Here. Rescue us.
I have to ask because I'm a bit concerned now.
Oh, big concern. Oh, no.
Little bit. Yeah, so I've been doing these kind of things on Google Cloud for many years, so 15 years to be precise.
Wow.
So I think
Thank
it
you.
might not even be called Google Cloud when I started. And I see now that you are doing the same things using a technology that is a little bit different from what I'm still using. I still have a few applications running there. So you probably know I'm talking about Google application engines.
App Engine, yeah, the very first Google product, Google Cloud product launched in 2008.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
and they're still going. I've been going through a few upgrades and migrations and so on. So how is this different from Google Applications Engine, and why are you demonstrating bringing apps to Google Cloud using Cloud Run? That's why you Cloud Run instead of Google Applications Engine. So I guess it's 2 questions.
Amazing question. Sequoia, did you plant this question?
I honestly wish I did.
Yeah.
I would
This
feel
is
a lot
great
smarter.
question. So Google Cloud has been, actually Google Cloud is the first public cloud there was, launched before various other cloud platforms we might have heard of. In 2008, App Engine was launched. I loved App Engine. I used to use it as well. I still have a few, just like you say, a few applications running on App Engine. So App Engine still exists, still has lots of usage on Google Cloud. If you like App Engine, stick with App Engine. Several of my applications are on there. They just keep running forever. I very seldom have to do anything with them. You had to do some upgrades or migrations?
Yes, sorry. So I first migrated from the Python 2.7.
Oh.
Well, actually, Python 2.5 to 2.7. And now I just did from 2.7 to 3.9.
Oh.
And that's most of it. You know, they're more involved. But yeah, they use a data store. So I've considered, like I myself, I like relational databases. For the cost effectiveness that I get with data store and performance, I know for sure I'm not going to get it with the relational database. So I don't use relational in my web apps. I use a data store.
Just data, yeah, got it. So excellent. Coming back to your question was, okay, so this sort of thing you could do in 2008 on App Engine. What are we are showing another product here called Google Cloud Run. Why a new product when App Engine has been around? What's the difference? And this is a difference that we didn't go into the talk, but I'm so happy you brought it up, because in App Engine, you would deploy source code. You were sort of linked to, there were only a few languages that Google supported, Python, then Java, then a few others. Google supports only certain language versions. You mentioned you had to upgrade your Python version. With Cloud Run, we're using containers instead. And containers, this new concept that has come up in the last 5 or 10 years, is sort of become a consensus in IT that containers is the way to go. Because a container, it contains not only your source code, not only index.js and stuff we saw here, it contains all the libraries we're using as well, and the runtime. So if we were to upload a new application using, or an application using an old version of Python, we could do that. We would never have to upgrade. because Google just keeps running it. You send the runtime to Google as well. So you can run very old programming languages, very new bleeding edge stuff. There is a new JavaScript runtime called Bun. You can run that on here because you build your own container. It's super easy to do. You saw us do it here. But it's because of containers, basically. Containers weren't around when App Engine was launched in 2008. But today, containers is the way we're building modern cloud-based applications, hence a new product.
Okay, so just one last follow-up question.
Yeah, of course.
So you're not saying that people who have their applications on Google Applications Engine now should go and migrate everything to Cloud Run, are you?
No, if it runs well on App Engine, stick with App Engine. But if you like what you hear about containers and how you have more control yourself versus your cloud provider having more control, maybe migrating to Cloud Run is something to consider, but otherwise just if it works on App Engine, go with it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for being a customer for a long time. Good question. Any other questions? Does anybody want to fight me on my use of databases?
Don't fight him. He once fought a kangaroo, guys. True story.
Who here has used the React JavaScript framework? There were a few. Okay, quite a few. Got it. Okay. Next, Angular. Oh, quite a few. Okay, slightly fewer than React. And then Vue is my favorite. The Vue framework. Oh, okay, even fewer, yeah. Oh, there was one over there as well. Was there? Yeah.
All right.
I love Vue. I realized when I wrote my spinning wheel app that I needed a framework. It got too complicated to write in plain vanilla JavaScript. So I realized I needed some sort of framework to build on. I read that there were 3 of them, React, Angular, and Vue. And I was like, oh, they all look so complicated. And then I just did a Google search for which one is easiest to learn. And somebody said in a blog post, Vue was the easiest, so I went with that. It was pretty easy to get started, right? Or what's your experience, you people who used Vue?
Lit HTML, Google.
What's that?
Lit HTML, lit. Made by Google.
Ah, that's a new choice, yeah.
No, it's been around for a while.
How long?
5-6 years.
5-6 years, that long. Ah, that's another option, yeah. Good stuff. Any other questions?
All right.
All right, we will wrap up.
Yeah.
Look for us if you have any questions about Google Cloud.
Look for him.
Okay. Then look for the guy in the pink shirt. Happy to answer any questions. And thank you again so much for coming.
All right. Thank you, guys.